Hello, hi, my name's Paul Finnis. I'm the Chief Executive of the Learning Foundation and the Digital Poverty Alliance. I just wanted, first of all, just to apologise for my wear today, but I suspect, like many of you too, it's absolutely bitterly cold here today. And that is a source of sadness for me today as well, and I'll come back to that in a second. But what I wanted to do was to have a quick look back, not a detailed look back at the last 12 months or so, and to highlight one or two things that have been particularly important for me. It's been a big year. I mean, a big year for both the Learning Foundation and our initiative, the Digital Poverty Alliance. And I was thinking that probably most of you watching this would anyway have been part of that in somehow or other over the last 12 months. So you don't want me to go through all of the details and things. And we did also, by the way, produce our 1 year on report, which we launched at our away day, the first time we got all of our kind of ambassadors and trustees and community board members and others together. And so if you've not seen that 1 year on report, do go onto our website or to our hub, and you'll be able to find a copy there, or talk to one of the team members. Undoubtedly for me, the highlight of the year would be the bringing together of the team for Learning Foundation and the Digital Poverty Alliance. We've, both on the donation management service side and on the Digital Poverty Alliance, we now have a really brilliant, really talented team in place, and I feel really fortunate to have them around me. Just gives me the confidence that we are going to be able to continue in our role of supporting schools in engaging with digital, and as we work towards our shared ambition of ending digital poverty once and for all. Now, our UK evidence review, probably one of the highlights, certainly for me, for the year, but published in June at the House of Lords. Wonderful event. One report we got back, or one comment I got back, was from one individual who described it as being the report that they'd been waiting 20 years to read. And it just really spoke to me about the numbers of individuals and organisations that have been aware of this problem for some time, and have been struggling to get it the attention it deserves. And particularly now, of course, the issue's moved from being something that would have been kind of nice to have 10, 15 years ago perhaps, to being one of some urgency and some huge importance now. The sadness I was mentioning at the beginning, and I'm not one for wanting to be sad all the time, but is that the inescapable fact of this year is that the second half of this year, and continuing obviously into next year as well, is going to be the numbers of families and individuals that are having to prioritise, sometimes for the first time ever, and are now falling into digital exclusion because they're having to choose and prioritise, quite rightly, of course, heating and food and clothing and things over digital inclusion. And one dream that I have is that there is a day when families and individuals don't have to make those kind of decisions again. Now, we've always said that we plan to own little and inspire much, because we recognise all of the extraordinary work that's already going on. But we do have, and we have undertaken some smaller proof of concept projects too, where we know there's a gap in understanding and where we're keen to fill that gap. So our first three, or four, you've probably heard most of them, but Tech for Teachers, of course, enormously successful, launched with Currys in 2021, and supporting something like 1,600 teachers with devices, but more importantly going on to look at the issue in more detail so that we can share that through a white paper perhaps with government and others to ensure that the needs of teachers are properly met. Tech for Prison Leavers, and I can share that already one youngster, one of the early youngsters in that programme, has already found a job that he would attribute completely to the fact that he's online and things. So there's some good signs there. Tech for Families, which we launched with Currys earlier, has taken off like a rocket, and it's been just absolutely brilliant to be working with them, particularly in the sort of 5 regional areas that we've started in, and watch out for more of that next year. And again, you'll have been reading recently about our announcement recently about the launch of the Tech for Schools programme, which we're doing with Amazon, and look out for that too. We have more plans for next year, more proof of concept projects, particularly around young carers, forces families and survivors of domestic abuse particularly. We are still looking for funding for one or two of those, so if the one or two of those do strike you as something that you'd like to talk to us about, then give us a call. We'd be very happy to hear from you. Also, watch out for our new series of webinars led by our redoubtable Chief Operating Officer, Elizabeth Anderson. You've seen one where she was interviewing the Russell Hobby from Teach First, but there's a fascinating one coming up in early January around the 4 nations and how they might work together. So look out for those. And finally, as you're doing your last bits of shopping for Christmas, make a beeline for a Currys store. They are supporting the Digital Poverty Alliance, and they've got some really brilliant shop displays which kind of promote and raise awareness of the issue, and also helps to support the work of the DPA. And they'll be inviting, as they have been for some time through the Pennies campaign, inviting customers to donate money to the Tech for Families programme. So look out for that. And just finally for me, a thank you. Really, you've just been brilliant. Thanks for making it such a special year in terms, I think, of a huge step forward closer to realising our shared ambitions of ending digital poverty once and for all. So thank you. Look forward to seeing you all in the new year. Thank you.